Okay, let's make speedlight photography easy. Now, what a lot of people make, whether they have gear acquisition syndrome or not, is that they think they need a really good camera, which of course they do. The best you can afford with whatever it is you plan to do, and certainly so, a good set of lenses. Obviously that's the case. Nobody wants to have a crap lens, but then you have to ask the question, other than my compositional skills and either my lack of mastery of light manipulation, why is it that this same lens, this same junky lens, is producing far better results? And I'm not talking about post manipulation with a raw file by someone that's an expert with Photoshop or Lightroom. Where is this color saturation? Where is this rich depth coming from? I know the person's using a speedlight, and I've got the best portraiture lens in the world. I mean, I've got a Zeiss 85mm or Nikkor 105 with the best bokeh in the world. What is it that I'm missing? And really, I mean, I've stated this many times before, and it just, whew. Actually, I think it's half that it flies over people's heads, and the other half is that they're too not consciously afraid to get into speedlight photography. And you don't need a pack of expensive studio strobes. I mean, it's certainly not extremely portable. They are, but I mean, you're talking about a lot of gear. It's not something you're going to take up on the side of a mountain unless it's an expensive paid-for gig and you got someone else to haul your gear for you. So what is it that you can keep it really simple? And I'm not about spending money. I mean, as you can see, a lot of the speedlight tips and tricks that I've shown you are things that I came up with and that you could build for $5 or less. So other than you saving up for, well, next lens and a next lens and a next lens, that you should stop doing that. And you can continue on in that ilk to a certain extent, but you're really going down the wrong road. It's not an either or, should I invest in lighting or should I invest in lenses? Well, here's a trick, and it's going to improve your photography better than anything else. Speedlights do not have to be expensive. If you're going to be using them off camera like this, you're going to be using them in manual or automatic mode. Now, automatic mode obviously senses off the front of the speedlight, right here, for cutoff, for quenching the speedlight. Now, if I'm using an umbrella like this, obviously it doesn't do me any good. If I'm shooting a subject over here, the speedlight sensing the front of the reflective surface of this umbrella, obviously it's going to quench so soon. It's going to quench too soon. So, you're only going to be shooting in manual mode. Well, I don't have a light meter. Well, you don't need a light meter. Things don't have to be that precise to get dead on. This is also another reason why you should be shooting in RAW. You can keep things really simple, like this is an SB800. This is the one speedlight that every professional photographer out there tries to hoard at any opportunity. It is incredibly powerful, it's very simple, and yet at the same time has all the complexity for anything you need. But you don't need it for this sort of work. Something really simple like an SB26. My favorite one for the value is the SB28. Use in automatic mode on camera or with non-TTL cable. Like for example, right now I've got the Fuji. I can't do TTL photography with this particular any Nikon speedlight, but I can use it in automatic mode or manual mode. Let's say I've got a Nikon. I still don't need the expensive speedlight, even if I have the capability of using a speedlight cable and having TTL flash photography. You're going to learn more by shooting in automatic and manual mode. And the next video after this, I'm going to show you some really awesome tricks that I came up with that's going to make understanding speedlight positioning really simple. It's like, well, where should I hold my speedlight? Here, here, here. What's the difference? The next video, I'm going to show you how to do that very, very simply. It'll be easy to remember. It is the case that is a mind learning technique that if you keep things kind of goofy and oddball, kind of like the neighbor's next door name rhymes with turd. You can never remember the next door neighbor's name, but his name rhymes with turd. Always remember his name. So I'm going to show you a neat little trick in the next video, how to keep things very simple, where to hold your speedlight for off-camera flash photography, and learn some awesome tricks with speedlight use. So, what is the one thing? This is really going to be the only video where I'm going to say you need to spend some money. But how much money? It's not much. You're saving up $600-700 for your next lens. I'm talking about spending $100. So what is it that we should get, and why is it going to be so helpful? It's the one thing that's going to improve your photography. your illumination that is going to make your photography jump out more than anything else, and incredibly portable, incredibly profitable. Also, if you're going to be shooting weddings or portrait shots. I mean, how many cameras or lenses do you have? Okay, you have a speedlight, yes or no? You may not have a speedlight. You're investing in the next lens, get a nice speedlight. Okay, spend $60 or $70 like on an SB 28 or SB 26. Now the 26 obviously has a slave trigger on the front. The 28 doesn't, so you could use the SB 26, for example, as a wireless slave speedlight. Now why am I recommending a Nikon speedlights? Even a used one like this, it'll last so much longer than the cheap Chinese ones. It's not even funny. Now you can buy one of those cheap Chinese ones and it's perfectly fine. It might last you a year or two. You get your 40 bucks out of it. But my idea is that you spend $20 or more and get like a used SB26, SB28, Nikon speedlight. Okay, 26. Keep things simple. This will last. The sucker's already half as old as I am, and it'll probably outlive me. So for $20 more, I use Nikon speedlight. Anything can break. 9 times out of 10 is going to last you far, far, far longer than the cheap Chinese junk that everybody's got the Yongnuo. You make the decision on that. To me, it's a logical choice. I mean, it's really a no-brainer for $20 more. I'd rather have the used speedlight that lasts forever than the new Chinese junk that is guaranteed to croak in 2-3 years, okay? Keep it simple. What am I talking about spending $100 on? Well, you're saving up $400 right now for your next lens, or you got $800, $1,000 laid away for your next lens. You got 4 or 5 lenses. You got 2 or 3 lenses. Next lens, better camera, better this, better that. Okay, let's put the brakes on things. You want to improve your photography, or don't you? Well, you know, my lens and my camera is portable. Yeah, that's great. Why aren't your pictures looking like the professional stuff that keeps winning awards and makes people money? Now, if I told you right now, and you think I'm full of BS, then $100 will step up your game on photography more than the best lens that money can buy, would you buy it? Here's the real question. Zero in on my fat, ugly face. If $100 will drastically improve your photography more so than anything else, would you buy it? Look, I'm not about spending money. I'm not, okay? Even though I've got a bunch of photography gear, maybe way too much, I am not about blowing money. I'm about spending it wisely, okay? You could do a whole lot more with a whole lot less, and if you're saving up that money for that lens, what should you get? Light stand, $15. This is a slightly more expensive one for $39. This one's even a little bit more expensive for 60 bucks. You want to make it portable for weddings and portraiture, something you could literally stick in your backpack? This weighs next to nothing. Next to nothing. $15 light stand. What can we learn about speedlight use? Let's get into that, okay? Right now, obviously using some wireless triggers. I would not normally be standing in the way of my umbrella for my illumination here. Right now I'm using a pair of pocket lizards. You could use the cheap wireless triggers, but what is a cheap alternative? It's like, well, I don't want to spend $120 per wireless trigger. Well, you certainly don't, and I'm in full agreement with you. So what should you get that is a far cheaper choice? Doesn't matter what you're shooting, Sony, Nikon, Fuji. Right now I have the Fuji in my hand. What could I do to get out of the way of my umbrella? What should I buy? What is the $100 you're recommending that I spend to improve my photography so much? Well, let's take a look here. Okay, obviously you have the option of a pair of wireless triggers, either the good ones or the cheap ones. Cheap ones, 60 bucks. Okay, here's something simple. We're using an umbrella like this. All we can do is manual exposure. Obviously, if I have this on a cable, like an SC29 cable, I can do TTL flash photography, but you're not going to learn anything that way. And it's an expensive route, and no professional needs it or really uses it. You just don't. What's a cheaper route? Right now, I have an umbrella. I have a little swivel head that lets me drop my umbrella in, and between that, I've got one of these. You can get a 5-pack for about $10. They're cold shoe connectors. It's a 1/4-inch connector here, the cold shoe right there for dropping in your speedlight on top, and that is sitting on top of this little unit that's $15 that lets me drop in an umbrella. Okay, so $15 for a light stand right here. You can for $20. They're all cheaply made in China, but it makes no difference. They're all pretty much the same. All of these light stands are made in China. For $20 more, these are cheap umbrellas. Okay, you can use these as reflectors or shoot-throughs. It is just basically a white satin umbrella. $20 the light stand and the umbrella. Is this a cheap umbrella? You're darn right it is. It'll basically last forever as long as you don't abuse it or destroy it. I mean, I've probably got 30 umbrellas in here of various qualities. Start out simple. $20 for a light stand and umbrella, okay? Remember, this is $100 being spent to improve your photography immensely. Another $70 for SP28, SP28 6 speedlight, right? We know we're shooting a manual right now. I'm at 1/16th power on my speedlight, and so I'm shooting a model at the ISO 800 f5.6, about 8 or 9 feet. Don't need to spend a lot of money. Let me actually turn this off and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, PC sync cable. This is an SP910. It's a rather expensive speedlight. Certainly don't need to be using that. What's the cheap option? If I'm not going to spend $220 on expensive pocket lizard transceivers, what is it I should be buying? What could I do, get the biggest bang for my buck? Since I'm using this either on camera, with, a cable, off camera, speedlight use with cable, either in auto mode, which is 95% as good as TTL, and I want to use something with an umbrella, but I don't want to spend a ton of money on a pair of transceivers. This is an SC17 flash cable. It'll work with all your Nikon speedlights, and it'll certainly work on the top of your Fuji or your Sony or your Canon. You're not going to be able to do TTL flash photography with it, but it doesn't matter. These are $15. $15. Stretch is roughly about 4 feet. What you do is you buy a couple of these at $15, which is a total of $30. You connect them together, you daisy chain them, so you got 8 feet, okay? I've got my umbrella set up. There's a 1/4-inch connector right here on the bottom. My speedlight fits right here, sits on top of my light stand. I've got my umbrella. I'm able to get 8 feet away and use this as studio illumination, right? Okay, well, you don't have an umbrella and you don't have a light stand. How complicated is it? As I've told you before, you need to actually go out and start failing some. Take your child out or your wife out in the garden, in the backyard. Start learning what it is. This acts exactly like a lens. If I have my speedlight right here, what is going to happen if I bring my umbrella in? What's that going to do to the light? It's going to confine it. What happens if I bring my umbrella out relative to my speedlight? It's going to actually change the diffusion. It's also going to change the angle of illumination that I have. Now this sits on a swivel. It's actually got a locking swivel head, so I'm able to do all of this number. Okay, you're very, very quickly, when you take your child or your wife out in the backyard, take your dog out or your cat out. It doesn't make any difference. Take them out and start doing some testing with your speedlight. You've got $100 invested. Okay, $20 for a light stand and an umbrella. It doesn't matter if it's a cheapy one like this. You can upgrade later. This is perfect, not only for reflection, but also shoot through. Obviously, it's a cheapie. Another $60 for your speedlight, so $60 plus $20, that's $80. Okay, you're going to need a $20 attachment for the top of your light stand. Most of them do not come with one, so you got $100. Another $15 for your SC17 flash cable right here. And if you want to get 8 feet away, get out of the way of the umbrella, obviously. I could daisy chain 2 of these together for $30. I'm only going to be doing manual speedlight flash photography with my umbrellas as reflectors. So I don't need TTL flash photography. It's not possible with the cheap SB28 speedlight anyway. You'll only be using this thing in manual and auto mode. Auto mode is, like I said, 95% as good as TTL flash photography. You want to upgrade more and spend like another 20 or 30 bucks, you can get a much better umbrella. Something that's versatile. For instance, this one I can use as a reflector or a shoot through. It's got a semi-silver lining, but what I have is I obviously have better reflectance due to the black backing on this, but it is a convertible right here. You can see that the black backing actually peels off the back of the umbrella. So it's a versatile studio umbrella that I can use for better reflectance. It's semi-silver. The ones you want to get are Westcott. Actually the best value for your money. You want to upgrade to better umbrellas like this to simulate evening sun. Not that expensive. This is a $30 umbrella. What do you think this would do with your $60 speedlight? How do you think you're going to step up your photography? You know, vastly more so than saving up for the next expense. I mean, I see all of you people out there, and you know, it's very common. So I'm saving for the next lens. The next lens, a better lens. You know, the better speedlight. That's fine, but this is the best $100 you need to be spending now. Now, if you don't do any of this sort of photography, you don't do weddings or portraitures, or you don't want to step up your game on lighting, that's perfectly understandable. That's fine. I don't know what sort of shooter you are, but this is the best $100 that you can spend if you're going to start doing weddings. Obviously, you're not going to stick this in the wedding chapel. It's going to be outdoors. It's going to be in the reception. You're going to take pictures of the bride and groom. Totally portable. Very simple. Let's go on to the next video, and I'll get into some of the details. I'm sorry I started off slow on this video. We'll start rolling fast on the next one. Okay?